everybody, it's Corey at The Reset Girl, and I am finally making the video I promised I was going to make so long ago. Today's the day. So I wanted to do a little setup video on my Kate Spade, which I show off all the time on Instagram because I love it so much. But before I took you on the little walkthrough, I wanted to kind of explain my process and some of the choices that I made and in setting her up and why I did it, because I know a lot of you are new planner girls, new to the community, which is so exciting. I love to see our little group grow and grow, and I get so many questions about planning. And I know that when I was a new planner girl, I was very overwhelmed with all the gorgeous planners out there. I watched videos, I watched different people's feeds on Instagram, and and I wanted to jump in. I wanted to get a planner too, and and being very enthusiastic, I bought different planners and had them, but I never actually planned anything. I didn't actually use it as a planner. I just kind of had it, and I kept watching videos thinking one day I'm gonna see just the right setup and it's gonna be the answer for me. And the truth is that once I actually started using a planner, I really wasn't the kind of planner girl I thought I would be. I'm very simplistic, I guess. And so I thought I'm gonna show the very simple way that I've set this up and how I use it, because there's probably other girls out there like me, and at least it gives you a place to start. And I think that's the most important thing, is just starting. So I just wanted to show you really quick. When I first started planning for real, this is what I used, was a Midori, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved everything about it, using inserts as my calendar. In here, it was great. And then one day I watched a video from Erin Joy, who we also know as Hobby Lane on Instagram, and she was showing this beautiful Kate Spade and the way she set it up, and I don't know what happened. I became so intrigued. I felt like I can do a ring binder planner, and I really couldn't believe that I was willing to try a personal size because it seemed so little. But I, like a lot of us, we see a video and of course we have to have it. And that's what I did. I went ahead and I bought one. So here's the thing. When I purchased this, I knew that I had a lot of kind of negative preconceptions about it. The idea of having to write in this little teeny world, this little space in here, that seemed really confining and restrictive to me. And the idea of my hand touching the rings as I wrote, that I didn't like the idea of that either. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like the zipper. So I had some misgivings, and so I really thought about it, because for those of us, can you hear the siren going by? So for those of us who have purchased one, it's kind of an investment. So I really wanted to get the best out of it. I really wanted to set myself up for success so that I'd actually use it consistently and that I would love it, because I wanted to love it. So before I started using it, I decided that I was gonna make it be a really beautiful place to be. I wanted to make it attractive, like a magnet, something I would want to open up, something I'd want to look at. So I kind of I made some decisions beforehand about what tools I was going to use to decorate it with and how I was going to do it. And one thing that I made a decision was I was going to keep the habit that I have of writing everything on sticky notes. I rarely write something directly onto a planner page or directly onto a notebook page. Every time I have to make an appointment, every time I have to write myself a reminder or a task, I would say 85% of the time I grab a sticky note. It's a habit that's been ingrained in me because having a full-time job, sitting at a desk all day, I always have this the sticky note dispenser sitting there, and I've taken it with me everywhere I've ever gone, so it's something that's ingrained. So knowing that that's my habit and it would be really hard to break at this point, I decided that I was going to incorporate that method into my planner, that I wasn't going to try to, you know, change such a fundamental habit that I have. So I went ahead and I grabbed some sticky notes and a notepad that I loved that happened to be the perfect size for the personal planner. This particular notepad from Target Dollar Spot. And I just took a punch and punched a bunch of pages in it so that I could use it inside my planner as just regular notebook paper. So I went ahead and grabbed those. And then another thing that I grabbed were these monster stickers. Who knew these monster stickers would be so popular? I get so many questions about these little cuties all the time. And I'm sad to say that my Walmart has sold out of them, and it's probably all my fault because I'm probably the one that bought them all. And I've looked at other Walmarts, and Target apparently sells them. So this will just show you what a little addict I am. I actually hunted down the manufacturer. I called them, and they suggested that I could ask Walmart to order them for me. So just a side note here, I did order, I know I'm going to admit this out loud, I ordered 72 sheets because I intend to put them in my shop, not to benefit financially from it, but because I know so many girls have mentioned how much they love them and they're really hard to find. You can't buy them online or anything. So I'm going to make them available for what I paid so that I can spread the monster love. They are just so adorably cute. So that's a side note. I just wanted to add that because they were a really important part of my design, believe it or not. I'm a grown woman with monsters, but they are so cute. Another thing that I purchased was these amazing inserts from Yellow Paper House. I cannot say enough good things about them. They're fantastic, and I'm really kind of simplistic, so I kind of stick with the two patterns that I love. It's the tiny grid and the tiny dot pattern, and I only got one colored because I really like my paper plane. I went ahead and got the teal because I thought this was going to look awesome next to Kate's interior lining. So I thought I'm going to go crazy and just get a pack of teal and just use it sparingly as needed. But this was the other component of what I was going to use to actually plan with. And then I planned all my washi. I picked a selection of washi that I was going to use, and it mostly comes, it's here on this side of the dispenser, but it was very intentional what I wanted to use, so I went ahead and grabbed that ahead of time. And I basically laid out all of my elements that I was going to do this with so that I would kind of have a very consistent look to everything. And I was going to just design everything all at once and be done with it. So some of the paper that I chose, I went with a lot of black and white kind of prints. Like one of them is this. I've already chopped it up. This is from Felicity Jane. This is probably my favorite scrapbook paper of the ones that I used. I really loved this print, but I wanted to use a lot of really white and black graphic kind of patterns because of her lining on the planner. So another resource that I went to was Etsy, and I purchased some digital patterned paper as well so that I could print it and use it, because the great thing about digital paper is that you can use it over and over and over again. You don't have to go to the store to buy it, and it never runs out. It is such a wonderful thing for a planner girl with an obsession. So once I had gathered all of that up, I had determined how I was going to use her. So after I had decided that, you know, I'd gathered everything together, I made a short list, and I had thought about it. I took a couple days to think about it, actually. I made a short list of what were the most important things that I needed to have in here. And I also made the decision that I wasn't going to keep everything in here like it was going to live here indefinitely. You know, if if anything, this was just going to be a kind of a temporary place to hold information while I went back and forth to work. I have additional planners at home. I have like a big calendar planner. I have like a fitness journal. I have a faith planner. I have a birthday, planner. So I didn't need this to be all of those things. I just needed it to be kind of a place that is more of like a quick reference, something I would need information if I left my home. If I was away from the house, what would I need to carry in here that would help me in my day-to-day life? So I thought about it in terms of, if I was sitting at a light and had a brainstorm, where would I put that thought and idea? And that's what this kind of became. This was going to be the holder of all my great ideas. It was going to be kind of like where I would jot down an appointment that I had, a task that I needed to do, where I needed to put a list. It was going to be very simplistic. It was going to be something I would just do in the really quickly before I could get home and kind of plan it out in one of my main planners. So I just thought about this in terms of it being kind of a temporary place to store information until I could get home and put it somewhere. It was kind of like, it's like having a little secretary, that she takes your notes and holds on to them. And when you get home, they get all filed where they're supposed to be. And that's kind of how I started envisioning it. And once I did that, once I kind of looked at it as it doesn't have to be everything. It can just be this little temporary place before you have time to kind of gather all those thoughts together and put it somewhere. It's kind of like a really fancy brain dump. And it's a brain dump that has little categories in it, but it doesn't have to. I mean, I can just shove everything in the same place. So that's how I looked at it, is just very basic, and it doesn't have to be super fancy with all kinds of inserts in it and all kinds of lists in it. Because that's just not how I'm going to plan. I'm not going to sit there and with this at home opened up planning everything in it. It's way too small. So let's go ahead and open her up and I'll show off what I got going in here. So when I got the 2015 Wellesley, I was kind of bummed because I had always seen all those pictures with the really pretty polka dot lining, and this one had this magenta lining. But you know what? I really love it. And I worked with that. I kind of used that as kind of my my muse, if you will, to decorate to. I think it looks awesome with all the black and white graphics, and so I just decided to use that. And I picking all these like really bright color post-its and the washi and stuff that I picked. It kind of I loved how it worked together, and so my vision of having this really cute, attractive place, that's kind of that's where it sprang from, was from this lining. So in these little pockets here, I have these little credit card size sticker sheets. These are not currently available in the shop, but they will be, because these are so handy, and I asked for them to be sized so they would fit perfectly in one of these little pockets, because most of us have a pocket or two available in our planner. So I thought that was a really nice touch. These little Starbucks gift cards are part of a series. They have them for a lot of different cities across America. This happens to be New York City, and this is Seattle. I went ahead and wrapped them with washi samples in case I ever wanted to washi on the go. You never know when that could happen. It probably will never happen, but you know what? I thought it was so cute, and it lent itself to, the whole aesthetic of having a pretty planner. So I went ahead and added those in there. I made this little bookmark. This is the book I happen to be reading right now, Make It Happen by Laura Casey, and it was part of a postcard that was included in the book, and I went ahead and cut out the graphic and I laminated it and added a ribbon. It actually does serve a purpose. Besides being a bookmark, it's a nice visual reminder for me that I'm supposed to be reading this book every day. I am such a bookworm. I have so many books. It's really easy to get distracted and want to read something else, and I forget where I left off and all that kind of stuff. So I left this in here purposefully so that I would be focused on getting this read, because I really looked forward to getting it, so I want to get that done. This is this really cute little magnetic bookmark from Crafted Van. They are they're on Etsy. This little set, so cute, you guys. It's from an I Love New York set. It is adorable. I saw it and I had to have it, of course. So this is what I decided to keep of the set in my planner for the time being. And then I have a little ollie clip here, and then one of the Target Dollar Spot sticky note pads, which I have been hoarding like a madwoman because, as you all know, sadly they are no longer available. So, but I have been adding my little monsters to them. I usually add a monster or two to most stuff I write in here because, as we discussed before, they are so darn cute. I put an overlay, like an acrylic one, over my dashboard just because I thought it would be, I don't know, protective, I guess. And it's probably functional, I'm thinking. I don't know. I saw someone do it on YouTube, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do that. It'll protect it. I don't want that to get all crummy. This cute little typewriter came from Etsy, actually. And it said something entirely different, and I just altered the file when I got it and just put something else. And this happens to be my word of the year, so I thought that was kind of cute. I love typewriters. A lot of us do. So I went ahead and made this insert as my dashboard. Washi in the center, which I pretty much did for every single insert in here. Divider is I washied it because I love the way it looks with the gold rings. So we're going to flip it. A contents page. Super fancy, right? This was my idea that I was going to make a fancy planner. I was trying to make it attractive and cool and something that I thought would be really fun, and it is, although it's not as functional as I'd hoped because I got really excited when I was building this planner and I kind of forgot that I actually needed to create the tabs in the same order that I had made the contents page. So it's not in the order I had intended it. So really it's just fun to look at, I guess, at this point. This was my first attempt at doing foiling, and I thought it was so cool. So it's like shiny and gold. And then of course, once I did one of them, then I wanted to do more because it is a lot of fun to do. I added my word of the year down here, focus, and so the contents of the planner, not in order. And all of my insert dividers, and I'm going to do a video on them because I get asked a lot about it, but all of them are actually kind of, they're double-sided. So whatever I have on this side, it's usually a different print on the other. So this was just regular cardstock, and then I added scrapbook paper to the back of it. So they're actually really sturdy and thick, which is nice, and then the washi kind of helps reinforce the whole. So I anticipate these are going to last for a really long time. I added this one here just to hold my sticky notes on the go, because you never know. Amy Tangerine sticker, and this is a Maggie Designs paper from her open book collection, Felicity Jane paper. This again double-sided, super thick, sturdy. This little graphic, which I adore, came from a digital download from this really awesome website that I want you guys to go check out. It's called thelilypad.com. It's actually a website really for scrapbookers, and it's meant for digital scrapbooking, and there are tons of files that you can purchase for just a few dollars, and then you have it forever. This particular one, it's meant to be part of like your project life layout, but I thought it was so adorable I wanted to include it in my planner. So I would highly recommend looking at digital files as an option for decorating, because you'll own them forever, and then you can like resize them differently and use them throughout, so you can have kind of a branded look to your planner, which is really cool. Again, I was all excited about the foiling, so I went ahead and foiled that one. And this particular section I'm about to show you, this is kind of what I consider the heart of my planner. And just bear in mind that before you can be organized, there must be chaos. It must be messy, because you have a lot of information coming into your life, and it needs to be filtered, it needs to be dissected, and it needs to go somewhere. You have to file it somewhere. So rather than take time to do it every single time I think of something or I'm reminded of something, this is a spot where I just dump it. I just dump everything in here. I have layers upon layers of sticky notes in here because it's really just a place to just get it somewhere where it's safe, where I know that all my little brilliant ideas will have a place to be. So when I get a moment, when I get a chance, I'll start pulling these little sticky notes apart. I'll either file them where they belong back here, or I will put them in the main planner that they belong to, whether that's like a faith planner or a birthday planner. If I've thought of a really cool gift for a family member, that little sticky note's going to go into my birthday planner. If it's a reminder about an appointment that I have, I'm going to take that and I'm going to jot it down into my calendar when I have a second. But until that moment comes, at least it's going to be here and I know it will be safe. So I just added some extra paper here, cute little sticker from the Alex Studio on Etsy. I went ahead and added these extra pages because if I ever get more of a chance to write out several ideas about the same project, I could use one of these. These sticky notes tend to capture singular ideas, if that makes sense. But if I get a chance to do any more, I'm going to use one of these. And I just went ahead and added more than a couple sheets of paper in here so that I would have the opportunity to capture that. That's weird. It's not actually stuck, but it was acting stuck. This is my tasks area. So as I was saying, if I have a moment to move anything out of the brain dump and it's like something that I have to take action on, I'm going to flip this and I'm going to go ahead and put it in an actual note sheet that I've written down. Here as an example, this one is Project Office Wall, very official sounding. So when I was working on my wall above my desk, I was jotting down many things that I wanted to purchase for it, and so there was more thought put into it. It wasn't just sticky note level. It actually needed a little bit more. So it warranted having more of a shopping list. I mean, I literally could have pulled that out and taken it into the store with me if I wanted to without taking the entire planner. I just wanted to call attention to this particular insert. These right here, this paper and this paper, they're actually digital patterns that I purchased from Etsy. There's quite a few digital designers on Etsy that you can buy patterns from. You can use them for any project, and I thought that was awesome because again, you can just download it, print it, and have it again and again and again. You don't have to worry about it running out, which I love. I think all of us love that. So moving along, we have, let's see, just a few there. And then here was a more focused area. As you can see, this was my word of the year again. I added it in the gold sticker paper. And here was, if I had, again, probably more time. And generally stuff like this occurs to me if I'm sitting in my car waiting for something, or maybe I come back from lunch early and I have a few minutes more to think through something. That would probably be a time where I would spend some time with a piece of note paper and writing stuff out. So in here, I kicked off this area with my goals sheet. And this is kind of funny. This was an accident. I meant to just foil this area here, and I didn't realize that my piece of foil was so large, and I ended up foiling my entire list, which is really funny. It looks so fancy. But I guess in the end it was actually kind of a happy accident, because now I feel like my goals are kind of literally set in stone, and that they're more important now, I guess. So I kind of covered them because I was shy about showing them, and so I just I have this to look at. He's usually not sitting there. And I used the note paper from Yellow Paper House and the goals and tasks kit that I sell in my shop to go ahead and create these goal sheets. And this was pretty much, I created the stickers pretty much because I didn't want to take the time to actually create an insert and print it and punch it and all that stuff. So I just took the easy route, which was just to add stickers. I mean, that's the truth. It was laziness. But it turned out to be a good thing because I really love them, and now I like want to use them all the time. And I struggle between using them and hoarding them, so I basically only took the time to put 2 goals in here, but I clearly had ambition because I made quite a few goal sheets. You see? Yep, 2015 is going to be a big year for me. So I have that little section, and then this was the intro into going into my calendar. And you might notice this looks familiar, and it's basically because I scanned this. I know you're not supposed to do that, I'm sure, but I scanned it, and I wanted to use it in my planner because I just love this pattern so much, and I'm so sad that it's gone from Target forever. So I went ahead and added it in here so that I could enjoy it. These are Amy Tangerine stickers. And I basically wrote a mission statement for my 2015. I put some of my goals in here that I wanted to achieve for the year, just overarching goals, things I wanted to be reminded of come, June and July when we've all fallen off the wagon. Here's another example of a digital download from thelilypad.com. This is one of those kind of graphics that you would lay over a picture before you printed it. But I went ahead and just added it to, I usually use like Microsoft Publisher to create my inserts in, and I just went ahead and added it to just a plain piece of paper, printed it, and then I foiled it. And I love that. I cannot recommend that more highly enough, guys. It's so cool to have this huge digital store to shop from, to make all of your inserts. They can be matchy, they can be different from each other, but there's so many beautiful designs in there, and they really aren't expensive. When you think about how much money you spend on stamps and paper that you go through so much of, it's kind of nice that this is something that just that you have again and again. So I'm flipping it over, and this little year at a glance printable is from Miss Wenda, and I'm going to make sure that I link to all the resources that I'm talking about, including her blog where this came from. It's really cute. And I went ahead and I printed it on cardstock so it was more substantial. So this is my monthly calendar. I just downloaded this the other day, so I didn't bother filling it out because January is almost over anyhow. I got this from this really awesome store on Etsy called Paper My Day. Fantastic inserts. There's such an amazing variety of them for different purposes. There's things for like YouTube analytics and blogging. There is even an insert for camping, which I think is awesome. I absolutely was so impressed with the amount of inserts there were, and they were, I believe, primarily A5 and personal size. And now she has a new line for the Midori, which I am super excited to try out. This is the week on one page layout, and Veronica, who's the Etsy store owner, was so sweet. She went ahead and added this grid layout for me because I'm such a fanatic about grid. I love, love, love it. And I know there are other girls out there who do too. It's awesome for making your handwriting nice and neat. It really helps create the guideline. And so she was very gracious and added that for me, which I was super excited about. The layout lent itself to adding a little cheerleader sticker here. It has like a little box at the top. You just fill in your own little date, so it's an undated layout. And I went ahead and added a cheerleader sticker over here and a monster, and I used my checkbox stickers so that I could just create a quick little kind of task list, if you will. So I only filled out this week. The rest of them are all blank. I print all of my inserts that I get digitally on 32-pound paper. Basically, actually everything that I print for my planner is on 32-pound paper. It is awesome. It feels so good. It's so like thick and luxurious. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend trying it. You will not be disappointed. This particular section is for the Reset Girl. I absolutely love this quote. I saw it on Pinterest and I just popped it into a quick little graphic that I made myself. Business is really just one person offering their gifts to those souls who need them. And I thought that was really beautiful and completely the way that, you know, that I look at my little business and my presence on Instagram. I really take that to heart, so I wanted to include it in here. And again, this area is a lot like a brain dump. Everything, you know, in regards to my little Reset Girl life, I kind of stick in here. All the ideas I have for new items, new projects, they all just kind of hang out in here until I can move them into my main project planner. I might take the time actually to put things directly in here versus just the general brain dump when I know for a fact that they're involving the Reset Girl. This is where I'll probably take more time to do that. So, and I notice also I'll take more time to flesh out ideas and stuff that I have here. And I use some of my stickers to actually kind of theme some of these out. This says great idea, that says plan this, and then read this. So I thought at this point that I was going to turn these into like little lists that I could, you know, hold on to. This is a quote that I saw on Instagram, and it was from the Alt Summit that happened recently. And I just thought it was so beautiful. And I used it as a photo challenge that we had recently for handwriting, but it says you have to be brave with your life so that others can be brave with theirs. And I just thought that was such a lovely sentiment, and of course it deserved monsters. So this section is for online, so everything online life. And generally when I think of online, I think about purchases that I make online, blogs that I want to look at further or that inspire me, Instagram accounts that I love. That's where I envisioned using this for. And whether it was like, you know, just wrote a sticky note out real quick, or here I actually bought one package of fancy inserts. I think these are the finance collection on Yellow Paper House, but I thought it's actually really cool to use as like a place to record your online purchases. And I make online purchases all the time because I have a little phone, right? So whether I'm at home or out and about, I wanted to make sure I at least had the option of writing them down properly. So I went ahead and added this in here, as well as more of that paper. And then we are at the faith section. And this particular insert is one of my favorite. This polka dot backing and the little flower, the little green and blue, all of that part of the insert is actually a graphic file that was made for like a journal card, and I kind of stretched it, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I did. I stretched it, and then I took this was meant to be, it's a totally different graphic, and I overlaid it, and then I printed the whole thing out. And I loved how it looked, and then it ended up being the perfect insert for faith. And I added a little cheerleader here, girl, have faith in yourself. So I love that. This section is a place where I tend to write down maybe a scripture that pops into my head or something I want to look up later, a prayer request maybe. I happen to be reading that book, and sometimes I'll write a reminder in here to myself about it. A project that I'm working on right now is making these scripture cards, and I generally try to keep at least one scripture card in my planner that I can kind of reference as a way of A, memorizing it, and B, actually, you know, utilizing it and really, you know, thinking about it. So I put this little pocket in here, and of course now that I'm showing it to you, I can't find where here it is. So I got these little business card holders, and these are really cool. I could totally see these being super handy in many different planner projects, but they have an adhesive backing. They just peel off. You could totally stick sticky notes in there. You could stick a bookmark in there and kind of attach it to the back of an insert if you wanted to. I just thought that was really handy. I have a million of these so I decided I'm going to start using them. So that's what I went ahead and did, and it would work for many other type of projects, but it made a really great little handy place to pop a little scripture card in there. And again, another happy accident that happened here is I cut my paper too narrow, and it ended up showing the insert divider next door, which is awesome because it's glittering gold and it just makes this whole little area just look really pretty, and another reason why I love coming over here. This little Hey Girl is actually from a stamp that looks, well, it looks like this. This isn't the stamp, but it looks like this one. It was 2 for $1.50 at Michael's in their little dollar bin. They are so fun to stamp with, and they have really cute expressions. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to add more of these into my planner on regular paper. And you can see that I kept going with that theme. Glitter. Who does not love gold glitter? This is a scrapbook paper that I picked up, and it's like sandpaper. I glued more scrapbook paper to the back of it, and now it is like super, super thick and sturdy. It's awesome. This is my etc. section. I didn't really know what I was going to add in here, but I figured I'd be prepared if I ever had an etc. kind of emergency. And so one thing I stuck in here is this really cool, this was another foiling project. I'm crazy with the foil, guys. I had bought this graphic separately, this little black kind of burst graphic. I bought it separately, and then I added my own text to it. And I actually printed this black in an inkjet printer, and then I printed the text with my laser printer, and that made it possible to just foil the text alone. And I absolutely loved how it turned out. Whether you like Taylor Swift or not, I think it's a really good reminder to not let things get to us. So I went ahead and added this one to my planner. I'm actually going to do a video on foiling because it's so fun, you guys. It really is. I can see why it's so popular. And it's probably only going to get more popular, let's face it. So anyway, I'm going to do a video on that so you can see how it works, and it is really super easy. This is really the only section, the only dividers that I kept from the original Kate Spade that it came with. I don't know what my problem is. They're really not bad dividers or a calendar at all. I'm not sure why I didn't care for using them, and now that I'm talking about them, I can't even find them. Okay, well, we'll just pretend they're here. Didn't care for them. They weren't my style. I love the grid paper. It just makes it so much easier to capture information, so I ditched them. I might end up selling them or something just because I know there's other people who would really love to have them, and I don't love them. But I did love this little section. I loved the address section. I love this really pretty, almost Tiffany blue. So I thought I would just hold on to that and keep my address information in here, like for pen pals and my family, because that is something I would use if I was running out and about and I had to drop by the post office for some reason and felt like mailing something off at the last second. I would be able to do that. I added this little page in here. It's a little business card pocket. It holds 3 of them, and it's actually part of the Day Runner collection. This stuff is really inexpensive compared to the Filofax brand, so I had purchased a bunch of these when I bought my first Filofax, and then I sold it without ever using it. And when I got Kate, I decided I'm going to pull all those out. And another little tool that I recommend. It's really, these are great. You can add the sticky notes in here, or scraps of paper, journal card, washi holder. I left mine intentionally empty because I just want to see if it has a function. If I don't end up using this in a few months, I'm just going to pull it out. But I thought I would at least give it a try. And finally, my little stickers. I really try to keep Kate as lean and mean as possible. I did not want to stuff her full of a bunch of stuff, so I just put really the most minimum things I could possibly need in here, which was the little check boxes I used for my calendar, the little cheerleader stickers that I just love to pieces, the monsters that I adore, and then I love these. I have not used them. I don't know if I ever will, and if I don't, I'll take them out, but I figured I'd give them a shot because I think I put them on a couple of my inserts, and I don't know. I just think they're fun to look at, bright color. I have my Target Dollar Spot pen, which used to be just an ornament in my planner. I never used it until I hacked it. So I took out the guts and I put a different pen inside of it, and now it is way, way more nice to use. So now it actually gets used. And this poor little Staedtler pen, this little guy, he got tossed into a bag and I forgot all about him. I never even used him until one day he ended up being the only pen I had available. And then we fell in love. I absolutely understand why so many planner girls love this pen. It's wonderful, especially if you have a personal size planner, because you can actually write little. So now he is my hero and he hangs out in there with my other pen. So there is Kate. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I'm going to make sure that I link all of the resources that I had mentioned to you down below. And thank you so much for spending this time with me and hanging out with me. Kind of wish you were here. You could show me your planner. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the lovely comments that you guys leave me all the time. And I just appreciate you so much. You ladies are just awesome. So thank you, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye.